everybody. So great to be with you. Today we are talking about compassion, and we have, I think, one of the best stories in the Bible that illustrates what compassion is all about. And it's the story of the Good Samaritan. Have you heard it before? Well, how this story came about is that Jesus told it, because Jesus was being questioned by a guy who thought he knew quite a lot about compassion, about being a good person. So he said, this kind of love your neighbor as yourself. Well, who is my neighbor? So he was trying to find out, well, who's my neighbor? Who do I need to be kind to? You know? And Jesus answers with this story. And he says, there was a man who was walking along the side of the road, and he was suddenly beaten up. He was robbed and he was left just to die by the side of the road. And a man came by. This man was a priest, and he saw him, but he didn't stop and help. In fact, he crossed the road and he kept walking on the other side. And then another man, also a religious man, was walking along, saw this man on the side of the road, also crossed the road and kept walking. And then a Samaritan came along. Now, in those days, Samaritans were not, they were a different people group from the Jews, and so often they wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. They looked down on them a bit. But this Samaritan person came along, saw what had happened, got off his donkey, got bandages out, got wine and got oil, because in those days, I don't think they had antiseptic like we have. So he started putting that on, wrapping him up. He put him on his donkey, equivalent to us putting him in the car, I guess, and took him to a hotel, because they didn't have hospitals, and said, please look after this man until I can come back. Spend what you need to get him well. I'll pay the bill. He left them to look after him, and then came back and footed the bill. So then Jesus says, so who in this story was being a neighbor? And the man said, the guy who had compassion on him. And Jesus said, go and do likewise. So in this story, we learn that being a neighbor is all about having compassion. And I just wanted to have a think about today. Sometimes you might think, well, how I can't do that much because maybe I'm not a doctor. I don't have that much money to pay someone's medical bill, or I don't have a donkey or a car to get them to safety. What can I do? But you know what? I was thinking about, it's all about having a neighbor mindset and being prepared for those moments to share compassion when they come along. You know, I don't know, I was a Girl Guide, and I don't know if anyone here is a Girl Guide or been a scout, but they always say to be prepared. And I was thinking, if I had my toolkit, if I was prepared, what would I put in it? Now, I might not have bandages with me. I might not, like I said, have money. But what do I always have that I can keep in mind as my neighbor mindset, as my love others with as you would love yourself, with compassion? What would I have that I always have? Because there are some things that we all have, even if it's not material. What could they be? Have a little think. What would you put in your kit? Could it be like this Good Samaritan who stopped? He stopped for one thing, didn't he? And the others crossed the road. He went over, and I would imagine started talking to him, asking, are you okay? Can I help you? Let me help you. He started to comfort him. You're going to be okay. We're going to look after you. Okay. He started to use words to bring comfort. Maybe you want to be prepared and have in your toolkit words of love, words of hope, words of encouragement. He also used his words to get other people to help. Maybe you want to be someone that does that says, excuse me, we need help in this situation. Maybe you're someone who wants to use your time. It could be that someone who is lonely, and your act of compassion is to spend time with them. He stopped what he was doing. He was obviously on a journey, but he changed his direction and he spent time with this person who needed help. That was showing compassion. He used his energy, he used his effort to help, and he used his resources, those things that he had in his bag, those actual things. What are the things that you think? Maybe you have a good sense of humor and you would like to help someone to laugh who hasn't laughed for a long time. But it's very important, isn't it, to have a think. What do I have that I can use in my compassion toolkit as my mindset as a neighbor? And how can I remember? Because we all want to help the people that we know. But the key to this story is the neighbor was someone who he had never known. It was about being kind to someone who he'd never met before. And that's a true neighbor mindset that Jesus asks us to have, that people who are different from us, they still need our love, they still need our compassion. And you can be that person that makes a big difference in their life. So my activation for you now is I want you to think, what are 3 things that I can have in my compassion toolkit, in my neighbor mindset? Have a little think. And we'll see you soon. Okay, bye for now.